On, first take.
Morning on it. I think you know what's coming first. That Mo Salah announcement came during the international break. First chance really to have a chat with you about it. How do you feel now? Obviously you knew it was coming, and can it act as a real positive for the club between now and the end of the season? And is he fit, first of all?
Yes, he is. He trained with us yesterday, will train with us today, and is available for the game tomorrow. I think what has happened after he announced it is what he completely deserves. His teammates, anyone, everywhere around the world that was asked about his legacy, said the words that needed to be said. It's been unbelievable what he did for this club for so many years, every 3 days. Scoring the goals he did, having the assist, having the impact he had on this club, winning the trophies. I saw a beautiful photo of him in front of all the trophies he's won, individually and as a team. And I can only hope that he can add 2 extra trophies to it towards the end of the season.
Well, he wants to finish on a high, won't he? So, can it act as a real positive for you? Now that everybody knows it's happening, do you feel it will give the club a sort of boost?
For the club, maybe. For Mo, I think it doesn't matter if he's going to leave the club or if he's going to stay. That's what he's shown in all these 8 or 9 years, that he was always available in his best possible shape. And that doesn't change, not in a positive way now. Now he's leaving in the end, because Mo has always given everything he's got for this club in all the years that he's been here. So I would hope that he could give maybe even more, but that's not realistic because he always gave everything he had. So and he will try doing that till the end of the season. And if we have a Mo in the form he's had for so many years, that will be a big help for us towards the end of the season.
I know you had a disappointing result last time out at Brighton, but now you've got these 2 big cup fixtures back-to-back, big games, an exciting time really for everyone at the club. Just how you want it really at this stage of the campaign?
Yeah, but that's throughout the whole season, how much you want it, but it's also about who's available and who's not. And I think the Brighton game summed our season up completely. So after a great game midweek against Galatasaray, we immediately had to set back the day after with Ali and Mo being out. And then 3 minutes into the game, Hugo Ekitike went out. And I think we could also see that in the second half, 1 or 2 players struggled with the fact that we played during midweek. And those were the players that were not used to it yet because of injuries throughout the whole season. So, but now Mo is back. Ali unfortunately isn't. But I think much more of our players are used to the program now than they were in the beginning of the season. So now it's up to us to show that we are ready for this tough fixture list. Tough in a sense of the opponents we face, but that's completely normal. If you are still in the FA Cup and if you're still in the Champions League, that you face tough opponents, and tough in a sense that it's a lot of games with hardly any rest in between. But we are now 8 or 9 months further than we were in the start of the season, and I think more and more players are ready for this schedule than they were for large parts of the first half of the season.
One of those being Alexander Isak, who we've seen back on the training pitch. It would seem to be too early for tomorrow, but has he got a chance of figuring next week?
No, it will definitely be too fast to expect him in the starting lineup. He's trained with us yesterday for the first time. And today for the second time after exactly 101 day. I know this because it was told to me. So yeah, it will take a bit of time to give him a lot of minutes, but we will make sure we do the right thing in terms of building him up in minutes. But it's a very good thing to have him on the training ground again. It would be even a better thing to have him available for games. That's for sure.
Thanks very much.
There are lots of big games on the horizon, starting with this FA Cup tie at Manchester City. What is it about the big games, do you think, that seems to bring out the best in the Liverpool players? If you just look at this season, and I know lots of things haven't gone your way, the game against Real Madrid, Arsenal, home and away, even the Manchester City game that you lost at Anfield, you played really well and could easily have won it. So what is it about these big occasions that does seem to enable the players to play with maybe a bit more freedom.
Now, unfortunately, the one game we are playing tomorrow was probably the worst game we had in the sense of playing the big games. We lost there 3-0. Of course, there were referee decisions involved in that loss that made it harder for us. But they were much better in the first half than us. I think, and I've said this many times, the reason why we have shown many times that we're a good team in big games, but also in other games, is that we have very good players and we can play very good football. It's been a very hard for us and a struggle for us to play the amount of games. So every time after a good game, even the City game, we played 3 days after we played Real Madrid. And that has been our biggest problem this season. Struggling after playing after a good result or a bad result, so many games. That has been the biggest issue for this team. And not the games on itself, because we've shown that we have quality players and we are a very good team. But the amount of games have been our biggest issue. And that's why I just said it's interesting for us to see now where we are after 7, 8 or 9 months. We've played much better against them at home, as you said. At Anfield, I don't think we deserve to lose, especially not after our second half performance. Unfortunately, there was a big referee decision in that game as well, the red card on Mo Salah. That didn't went in our favour. But now we have to show, if this progress, we can also show that in an away game, because it's usually tougher to play away from home than at Anfield.
The game that you referred to at Manchester City that you lost 3-0, Jeremy Doku was almost unplayable. What can you do to try and make sure he doesn't get that type of opportunity again to cause as much carnage? I mean, he'll probably never play as well as that game, but Jeremy Doku is a very capable footballer. Is it about trying to cut the supply to him?
I did my homework quite well for this game, as I try to do for every game, but I have to disagree with you about Doku's performance last time, because the year before he was even better. I think then he had 11 times he had a dribble past one of our defenders, and in the last game he had 7 or 8. So I wouldn't be too sure that he's not able to do that another time. But we hopefully also learn from that, and it's not always about Doku on his own. It's also about the environment. How many players can we bring in that zone? If it's 1v1, then he's probably one of the best out there, and that's a big quality to have for a team. I think the amount of times I've sat here to say one-on-one quality can make a difference against teams that defend in a low block. So it's a vital quality, but we have to make sure that he's not as isolated. Our defender that have to defend Doku is not as isolated as he was in the last time we played them. And sometimes he was not only on a 1v1, sometimes he had even the fullback to support him. So my defender, Conor Bradley back then, had 2 players to defend. And that makes it even more difficult to play against Doku if O'Reilly is also there to help you.
Thank you.
Can you just check on Ali? I know you said he's not available tomorrow. Do you expect it to be a longer term thing, or?
Yeah, he will not be part of the Paris Saint-Germain games as well. So he will be out for a bit longer. Towards the end of the season, we expect him to be fit again.
And Jeremy, I know he obviously came off for the Netherlands, but he's okay.
Yeah, he seems to be okay. Trained with us yesterday fully, and will train with us tomorrow again. But he was one of the players I referred to about the Brighton game. I think in the second half you could see that he still has a step to make in terms of every 3 days, and then coming off for the national team. It's another interesting and difficult choice to make. How many minutes in which game? Because games come so fast, and it's as we know, we don't have 8 right fullbacks available. So Interesting challenge, but I faced this challenge throughout the whole season almost, so I will find an answer.
Would 2 sessions be enough to include Alex on the bench tomorrow?
You can even be on the bench if you haven't trained or if you. But the question is he ready to play some minutes? That's another question. It's a difficult one because we don't play a normal game. What I mean is that it could go to extra time, so that makes it even more complicated if you bring him in. If we think he can only play 10 minutes, if we already think this, and you bring him in 10 minutes before the end, and then you go to extra time, that of course you can take him off again. If we have enough players available to bring another player in, so yeah, maybe a few minutes, but let's wait and see how it is with him today, how he feels about it himself, and it's clear that after 2 training sessions, after 100 days, it would not make any sense to start him tomorrow.
Yeah. At the start of the season, he obviously needed a long time, didn't he, to get up
Yeah.
to speed, having not had a proper pre-season. Now, after 3.5 months out, what do you think is actually realistic between now and the end of the season?
No, it wasn't only that he missed pre-season, he missed also the end of Newcastle season, and he didn't go with the national team. So he missed much more than only pre-season. Yeah, what's realistic? I think rehab did a great job. If I look at him now compared to where he was before he got injured, I see a player that's much stronger, physically in a much better place. But going from 100 days off towards the intensity of the Premier League in the end phase of the season and the end phase of the Champions League, where usually the opposition you face is even harder. What's realistic to expect? That's difficult, but I'm really happy that I have at least a number 9 again available behind Hugo or together with Hugo. So that's already a positive thing, and what to expect. I think I've said many times that next season, when he's had a proper pre-season, we can expect more from him maybe than now. But even the way he is now is already a big step forward for us compared to what we had when he was injured.
Hi, Arnie. Looking back at the 2 games against Manchester City last season that you won, in both games you were able to get a lead quite early on. I think inside the first 15 minutes you were able to score a goal. Whereas looking at the 2 games so far this season, you mentioned the City away game, we played not very well in that first half, even regarding the chance at the end. And in the home game at Anfield, it wasn't a great start. City were dominating most of the ball. Even in a game like this, where against a team like City, you're expecting to do a lot of defending, how important is it to retain that attacking element even in those early stages of the game?
No, very important. I think I've felt this season multiple times how important it is to get a lead, because that's where we struggled with this season, and it's much easier if you're 1-0 up, 2-0 up to keep the lead than being 1-1 or a goal down and you have to chase the game. So scoring goals is vital in football, as we all know, and it helps you in many aspects. That's why I'm so happy that Alex is back. Away game, we scored from a set piece. That really helps in every game of football, especially in the big games. It's so important that you have a positive set piece balance, which we didn't have when we faced them at the Etihad this season, because they scored from a set piece. By the way, we scored as well, but that was disallowed. So that makes it more difficult. But as you said, the first half at Anfield, City was dominating ball possession. You could also change the question and say, how impressive was it that you dominated ball possession the second half? Because how many teams can dominate ball possession against Man City throughout the last 10 years? So that's what I mean with a big step forward compared to the game we played at the Etihad. But now we have to show this as well in their stadium, which is always more difficult than having 60,000 people at Anfield that helping you out if you are pressing and giving you the energy that you need if you face City. The good thing is it's an FA Cup tie, so we have more fans than we usually have in an away game. And as we know from our fans, they will be loud, and I wouldn't be surprised if they would even be louder than the fans of City.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wayne.